All Blacks have confirmed the injury list ahead of the big Eden Park match up against the Springboks, folks, and all the halfbacks look like they're going to be out. Cam Roigard, if there's one player maybe other than Ardie Savea who you wanted available for this match against the Boks, you'd make a good argument for wanting Roigard available, but no, he is not yet recovered from his stress fracture. It is 3 to 4 more weeks for him, so he will play neither of the tests up against the Boks, and likewise Noah Hotham with his ankle injury, likewise 3 to 4 weeks recovery time for him. Cortez Ratama did get a rib fracture up against the Argentinians, and they have not officially ruled him out. But given that ribs don't really heal up in like a week or two, I can't imagine Ratama is fit to play unless they absolutely pump him full of painkillers. But it doesn't seem like very likely. So I've chucked his name in the likely out list alongside the 3 halfbacks. Paddy Tuipulotu with that facial fracture, which if you didn't see pictures of, was pretty horrendous. He is also confirmed to be out for 4 weeks. And Timosi Tavatanawai, who was released to play into NPC Rugby at the weekend, he picked up an injury in that game, and he's out for 12 weeks with a fractured radius. So yeah, a fair few options taken away from Razor. But the fact that 3 of these guys are halfbacks is pretty concerning. There are 2 players who are on their way back from injury, Luke Jacobson and Caleb Clark, who will be available for the second test down in Wellington. But if you were hoping to see Caleb Clark on the left wing for the ABs, this Eden Park match doesn't seem likely because they said nope. And that's despite the fact that he played and scored a try for Auckland yesterday in the NPC. Some of the other guys who are still in the squad as injury cover, the likes of Xavier Rowe and Sam Derry, have been called in. Obviously, Rowe is another halfback because we need more halfbacks with Ratama being injured, and Derry, he's another big lock. The fact that Paddy Tuipulotu is out means Derry is in. Good news for him because he missed so much of the season due to injury. He was having a pretty good year last year for the ABs. I feel like many of us would argue that he could probably be ahead of Josh Lord in terms of his spot in the pecking order, but those 2 guys are just in as injury cover for the moment. And then the guys who were already in as injury cover, seemingly our first choice halfback at the moment, Finlay Christie, seems to be the guy who will be leading the way at Eden Park unless Razor decides to either, as I said, pump Ratama full of painkillers or give somebody a test debut up against the Boks at Eden Park. Seems pretty unlikely. Hopefully Finlay Christie can recover some of that form that saw him help lead the Blues to a Super Rugby title not that long ago. He played pretty well in that Super Rugby final. He won some turnovers against the Pumas. Fingers crossed he can get a bit of a Beaver, Stephen Donald kind of redemption story in the eyes of the New Zealand rugby public, because he's not a favourite, to put it kindly. Kyle Preston's the other halfback. He would be on debut if he does get a game against the Boks, which, as I said, would be a pretty high-pressure environment. Josh Lord, Tavita Mafileo, and then Leroy Carter are still in there as injury cover. The only guy who's kind of been sent back away, not rejoined the squad in Auckland, is George Bauer. So with the return of Tamaiti Williams, he is not needed for propping duties for the ABs. Speaking of props, though, Tyrell Lomax is back with the squad, so that is definitely a bit of good news. Certainly one of the better scrummaging tight head props in World Rugby. Fingers crossed he's 100% ready to go. I don't know that you chuck him in at the deep end if he's not had any rugby recently against the Springboks, but potentially a spot on the bench for him. And Anton Leonard-Brown has also returned to the squad in Auckland, having played NPC at the weekend. But yeah, a bit of an injury crisis. Certainly it is the number 9 jersey that seems to have a bit of a curse on it thus far this year. But you guys let us know your thoughts. How do you reckon the ABs are going to go? I reckon Christie will go better than people are giving him credit for. But it's going to be a tough ask. I'd still rather have Cam Roigard. We'll see. You guys let us know your thoughts. Take care. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Talk to you guys again soon. See you later.